When it was first announced, there was just one thing I kept telling myself. Let's hope Paradise Hotel offers everything Propagation has to offer, plus an environment you can explore, a story to follow, and puzzles to solve. I was a bit skeptical, as we haven't had many titles lately that have lived up to our expectations. But when I first started the second chapter of Propagation, I immediately realized that I was looking at a very promising game. But let's not rush too much and see the real potential of this game. Follow the video until the end. This is the review of Propagation Paradise Hotel. Let's start with the element that certainly attracted the attention of Propagation the most, a monstrous graphics sector, and Paradise Hotel is no different. The details of the rooms so accurate that you can distinguish the texture of the carpet and the wallpaper, the brush to paint of the gun, the taxellation of the gun handle, the grain of the wooden surfaces complete with a glossy effect, and metal surfaces that it seemed to feel the cold by touching them with rather credible light reflections, even if not dynamic and in real time. The lights create the right atmosphere with a slight bloom effect, and most of the objects in the environment project their own shadows if illuminated with the torch, as well as the zombies and objects held in your hand, while other objects that form the backdrop, like those present on the furniture or scattered on the ground, do not seek to respond to the light in the same way. And finally, your own hand do not project any shadows, neither when illuminated by the torch nor by another light source. The models of the zombie are not very varied, and it often happens that you find yourself in front of the same model, even if with different tonnage and height. Some are bare-chested, others are dressed, and all the models show off beautiful details and particulars, such as open wounds on the body and on the head, fluff, and even hair that moves. If hit in more fragile points with a few well-aimed blows, such as on the arms or legs, these are ripped off, but for their head to explode, you have to wait to recover a shotgun, and after having fired a straight shot to the face, they will literally lose their head. There are also mid-bosses, slightly bigger and more resistant zombies, and mutant zombies who will hunt you down a couple of occasions, and the obligatory burly zombie, who despite his size will make life difficult for you and will fall on of you in an instant. What you will most appreciate in Paradise Hotel and its graphic sector is the feeling of continuous anguish and anxiety that it will be able to arouse in every single step you make, with long, narrow and dark corridors, soft lights that do not illuminate enough, and claustrophobic maneuver spaces in which you will never want to find yourself surrounded by a group of zombies. But above all, you will appreciate these environments because they recall the style of the mansion from the first chapter of Resident Evil. Sumptuous, gloomy environments with many rooms to explore, and they are not the only to the survival horror per excellence. There is a very detailed map that indicates which areas have been explored and which ones are still to be explored, which doors are open, blocked, or still closed, and in which areas there are useful objects to proceed. A spray can on the left side allows you to heal by spraying yourself, and the continuous puzzles seem to recall the sensation of being faced with an apparently unsurmountable obstacle, which was felt exactly in the first chapter of the Capcom title, and in effect, Propagation Paradise Hotel, if played by putting the headset on the face without asking what game it is, would immediately think you are playing a native VR version of the first Resident Evil. A little more effort would have been enough for a perfect graphics rating, but at that point it would no longer have been a title usable by the average VR player due to, maybe, too high requirements. So, it's better to give out some effects and be able to play it smoothly. I didn't think Propagation Paradise Hotel would have such precise mechanics, so much so it entered the top 5 of VR games with the best interaction on weapons, doors, drawers, and useful objects. Shooting ran as smooth as butter on a hot pan, very precise and fast. Reloading the weapon is a real pleasure. The spent magazine is removed by pressing a button on the controller, a new magazine is taken from the pouch and inserted without any problems into the weapon. The mechanics of the weapons are very well done. If you reload the weapon with the shot still in the barrel, there will be no need to move the slide back, while when the shots run out, the weapon will remain with the breech block open, and after inserting a new magazine, it will have to be pulled back to rearm it. Even the mechanics of the shotgun are realistic, and for the first time, I don't have to fight with the cartridge to insert in the magazine of the weapon. Each cylinder fits perfectly, without the slightest mistake. If the zombies get too close, then it's possible to hit them with a punch or with the butt of the weapon, and this will make them retreat and stagger, gaining a few seconds to catch your breath or reload the weapon. And finally, the zombie's body physically reacts to the blows. A head bump, for example, will cause their head to roll back, while a side bump will cause them to fall sideways to the side opposite to the hit received. Something not seen in all game. Really well done. Although the shooting is very dynamic and continuously offer heart-pounding scenes, as in the tradition of old-school survival horror, combat is not always the best choice. Propagation Paradise Hotel, if already played at an intermediate difficulty level, does not offer many resources scattered throughout the environment, and you will find yourself without ammunition at the most wrong moments, without healing or without batteries in the flashlight, forcing you to have to go through entire sections in total darkness. I don't wish you that at all, so manage your resources very well. There is another very interesting mechanic that will make you not to take the continuous run shortcut. Zombies are sensitive to noise. Running, shooting, and slamming doors may summon those nearby, and don't be lulled into having managed to knock down some of them. Unless you blow their heads off, they'll occasionally get back, either repopulating the corridors or leap right at you when you pass by them. So go slow and don't make a noise. The only note that you might not like, the inventory. We are now used to taking the backpack off our shoulders and taking everything we need from there. But in Paradise Hotel, in addition to the belts in which to store the gun, the healing spray, the ammunition and the batteries for the flashlight, you will have nothing else physically attached on you. The documents you collect, the map and keys items are inside a screen attached to your hand, which can be opened by pressing a button on the controller. But I have to say though that I didn't find it particularly annoying, and even in hectic moments it didn't hinder me in any way. Only the shotgun can be picked up and stowed behind the right shoulder. Oh, and finally, saving is really very easy. There is a room with a large register, choose the slot in which to save and click on Save Game. Easy, right? Propagation Paradise Hotel managed to take you feel completely immersed in the game thanks to its atmosphere of terror and fear of being suddenly torn apart in any moment. The excitement that this game will give you is worth a maximum score. Together with the precision of the interaction with doors, drawers and flaps that are gripped without hesitation and opened without glitches or strange movements, and respond perfectly to the position and the speed of your hand. You can even push them and see them closed by slowly swiping. Handles are grabbed and lowered with smooth and 100% responsive animations. Following the movement of the hand, doors can be pushed or pulled, and opening them slowly you can have a tactical advantage by aiming your weapon as you open the door. And remember to close them slowly, because if you slam them, the noise will attract nearby zombies. You can interact with panels screwed to the walls by freeing them from the bolts using a drill to gain access to the ventilation ducts. You can interact with electrical panels in which you will have to activate the current by raising or lowering switches in the right order, or by turning knobs until you reach the correct voltage. Closed doors can be opened with keys that you find around, with a clear and precise animation of the key entering the lock and being rotated to unlock the door. And again, you can enjoy the perfect interaction of swiping a magnetic card in the card reader. All very believable and physically engaging animation, but there's a huge elephant in the room, and it's the impossibility of interacting with anything other than a key object or a document to read. Yes, you got it right. In Propagation Paradise Hotel, the only object you can touch, take and manipulate are just ammunitions, keys, healings and some documents, which in some cases will give you the clue to solve the next puzzle. All the other objects in the environment are just part of that scenery that cannot be touched in any way, literally, since your hands go through any surfaces. It will also have been enough to take care of the collision of the hands and weapons with walls, doors and other environmental obstacles to make the game fully immersive. Such a pity. Well, the closer we get to Propagation Paradise Hotel's really sore point, the more the rating drops. But before we get to what will surely make you turn up your nose, let me tell you about the story. You take on the role of a girl who, after a few days of survival inside the hotel kitchens, where you and another survivor had set up a camp, learn that your sister is also inside the hotel, top floor. You decide to leave your shelter to go in search of your sister, and after going through corridors full of monsters, after solving puzzles of all kinds, and after meeting some survivors who won't be for much longer, you come to the final showdown with a huge boss resembling the four-legged evolution of Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Oh, another reference by the way. And after defeating him, you gain access to the elevator that should take you to the top floor. Nothing so complex and articulated, but the guys from Dev Studios have tried to put some nice details to this story that otherwise would have been too trivial, such as some characters who have an active role, documents that tells the story of other survivors, and which give other details about what happened in the hotel, all accompanied by a cinematic cut thanks to the good dubbing of the various protagonists. Well, I'll come to this at the moment when we need to talk about Propagation Paradise Hotel's weak point. It took me just 3.5 hours to complete, and indeed a couple of puzzles kept me busy for a few more minutes, and although I took a couple of detours from the main route to look for some collectibles, it wasn't enough to add time to the game. The evaluation will be just enough, except that after completing it the first time, you could replay it a second time to look for those nice collectibles, or maybe to try it on a higher difficulty level, or to try a quick run without even dying. The excessively short duration and the near impossibility of replaying it mean that my assessment of Paradise Hotel longevity is just above the sufficiency. Guys, no shit. Propagation Paradise Hotel is a concentration of terrifying settings, sense of perdition, awareness of not having many chances to make it, and the desire to leave the place. Except that it's certainly worse out there. Technically, it's a small gem that with a few more foresight on the graphics sector, some subtleties such as the collision of the hands and the weapons, with a slightly longer duration and with an ending that does not cut the story at the most beautiful, would have obtained the maximum score from me. Something more could have been done, just a little bit, and it will have been perfect. Either way, go buy it immediately, because despite everything, it's a great title at a very honest price. Finally, among the pros, there is the jaw-breaking graphics sector. It's full of details and effect, the shooting is impeccable, dynamic, fun and brutal. There are many references to the King, Resident Evil, what made me adore it from the first moment. So much so that after playing it in a hurry to create content for this review, I calmly replayed it to enjoy it in every aspect. Among the cons, however, there is the optimization that although the game is already fluid and I had no difficulty running it on my 1660 Ti with all settings active and set to ultra, on rare occasion I encountered annoying stuttering and audio in fits and starts. It's really too short. The 3.5 hours are really intense and you won't have a single moment to spare. Everything happens in real time, since that's more or less the time it will take you to explore an entire hotel in real life. But a couple of hours more visiting other floors and other rooms would not have minded. Melee is a little awkward. While all other mechanics are perfect, hitting zombie with your fists and with your weapon doesn't give the same satisfaction that you will get from punching a sack of rotting flesh, because your hands or your weapon do not collide with the zombie's face. It just rejects them. This was the review on Propagation Paradise Hotel PC VR version. I remind you that the game is also available on Quest 2 and you can buy it with 25% discount using the link in the description. Soon I will publish the video with a graphic comparison of the two versions. I will leave you with a few minutes of Propagation Paradise Hotel gameplay. Thank you for watching completed the video, like, share, subscribe and ring the bell, support the channel using the thank you button under the video. From Ben it's all, see you to the next one and see ya in VR. Have fun guys.